Hey YouTube, it's Billiv here, and today I'm back with the 4th episode of my Team Career Mode on F1 22. And today we've got the 4th race of Season 1 at Imola, and it is also the first sprint race of the season. But before I get into that, I've got to do this Pirelli Hot Lap. And I've managed to get the Silver Award on this, which means I'll get 500 acclaim and $50,000. I blame the wet weather again for me not being able to get the Gold Award. And before we get into this race, I just want to remind you of the current standings. So only 2 teams in the Constructors don't have any points, and that's us and Williams. And 7 drivers not having any points so far, us being one of them. Surprising to see that AlphaTauri have 6 points and Yuki Tsunoda's got them all. Gasly doesn't have a single point. But then again, it's not as surprising that Zhou and Stroll don't have points, whereas Vettel and Bottas do. And these are the full standings of results so far for this season. So I think it's going to take a lot of work for us to get up to that top end of the table, because this is where we're sitting right now. 14th last time out though, so not too bad. So hopefully we can improve on that at Imola. And with the car we have now, I think we've got a decent chance. I think anyone from AlphaTauri to Haas could finish anywhere from sort of 7th onwards. Because from Haas to AlphaTauri, there's not a massive range of difference in performance. We are at the lower end of that, but anything can happen. So let's get into the race weekend here at Imola. So after just 1 practice session, we are straight into qualifying here, as it is a sprint weekend. So that there's going to be 1 practice session after this, and then we're into the sprint after qualifying. So this is the position I'm going to be getting myself for the sprint in this qualifying session. So let's see how well I can do. And I've crossed the line here with a 1:18.375. So let's see where that puts me after everyone's done their first lap. So after everyone's done 1 lap, I'm currently in 10th. So that's a pretty good looking position here for me. So let's hope I can improve on my 2nd lap and get myself into Q2. So just starting my 2nd lap here, I'm currently in 12th on the leaderboard. So hopefully I can at least keep that position and make myself into Q2 with this lap. So as I'm about to cross the line here, I've gained myself about 3-4 tenths. Was about 5 tenths, but coming out that last corner, I was pretty slow. But that has put me in 6th after Q1. So that's not bad. And I've got to say, my car does feel pretty good round here. I've done a custom setup on it because Imola is one of my favourite tracks. So I know the sort of setup it needs. And I've had that chassis upgrade, and I can tell my car is just so much lighter. So unlike Saudi Arabia, I don't think this is to do with the difficulty. I think this is my car and just the fact I'm pretty good at Imola. So I'm quite happy with 6th here. So let's get into Q2. So I'm starting my first lap in Q2 here. So let's see how well I can do and give myself a baseline, and then see where I can go for my 2nd lap after that. So I'm about to come across the line here, and I'm going to get a 1:19.5, and that was a pretty poor lap because I got caught in traffic and I'm on scrub set of softs, so hopefully that hasn't really hindered me too much. But I'm going to need to improve in my 2nd lap. So after that first lap there, I am down in 16th, so I'm going to need a much better 2nd lap here if I want to improve my position. So I'm about to start my 2nd lap here, and I thought no one else had came out on track, but they must just came out at a different time. I think I must have come out first, but I definitely need an improvement on my time here. So as I'm approaching the line here, I don't feel like that lap was even particularly good, but I managed to gain a whole 1.2 seconds. So my first lap must have been especially poor, and that's put me in 9th position. So I am going to be through to Q3 here, beating the McLaren of Daniel Ricciardo by about 1/10. So that's good because he is my rival, and McLaren are just behind me in the performance. So shows that I'm just keeping slightly ahead of them. But I beat some other midfield teams as well, looking at the Alphas. And the Haas of Kevin Magnussen, he did pretty poor, especially compared to Mick Schumacher. So here we are, about to cross the line for our first appearance in Q3 in this series. And I'm only doing 1 lap here. I've got 1 set of fresh softs and I'm on them. So I've got to put in the best lap I can possibly do here and try and get myself in a good position on the grid for that sprint race. So here I am coming up to the line. Let's see how well I've done on this. It felt like an okay lap, and let's see where I am going to be. I'm going to be 9th on the grid, so not the worst lap in Q3. So I think I've done pretty well there to get myself into 9th. To be honest, I think I could have been as high as 7th because I made a couple little mistakes in the lap which probably lost me around 2 tenths. So I probably could have been up in 7th, but 9th is pretty decent, especially for our first performance in Q3, not coming last. And just making it into Q3 is a good achievement.
So it's all about speed in today's sprint. Not very many laps and no chance to get ahead on strategy. Who here today has the raw skill to take them to the top? Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And the smooth operator Carlos Sainz completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Russell, Sergio Perez and Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Mick Schumacher, the rookie and Guan Yu Zhou, Ricciardo, Bottas, Kevin Magnussen and Norris, Gasly, Albon, Oscar Piastri and Esteban Ocon, Stroll, Tsunoda, Latifi and Sebastian Vettel starts from the back of the grid. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out.
So because this is only an 11-lap race, the best strategy here is a no-stop, just going for the mediums. But as you'll see, there is a bit of rain forecast, but it's not for very long, so that'll get tricky at that point. Will I have to change onto the inter or the wets, or will it be best just to stay on slicks and see it out till it gets dry again? We'll have to see. So here we are lined up on the grid, 0.1 meters from a perfect stop there, so I'm in a good position here for when the lights go out. And the lights have come on here. Let's hope we can get a good start off the line and get maybe a gain on some people. It's a good start on Schumacher and Alonso ahead of me. So I've had a good start here, but Schumacher's moved across me. I've had to back off because I've had nowhere to go there. Now down into turn one, I've braked a little bit early just to try and avoid people. Someone's gone off into the gravel. Didn't see who it was, but that means I've moved myself up into 8th now. I've had a good exit out of that corner and get past Schumacher here potentially. Oh, I've made a bit of contact with him there. Oh, God, there's someone on my left as well. Made contact with them. And now I've definitely lost a bit of time to the people ahead of me. So, if you have a look again here at the start of the race, you'll be able to see that it is Charles Leclerc getting a little bit squirmy there and then just going deep into turn one. The pole sitter ending up in the gravel and letting everyone pass him, effectively ruining his chances of being on pole for the actual race. I've managed to stay ahead of Schumacher here, but he'll be coming back at me. And he's overtaken me here. But he's gone wide out of there for some reason. He went very wide. And now I've ended up in 7th place, I think. Yes, I'm in 7th place here. Bottas is gaining on me here. I have a feeling he's going to make a move. Not here, but when we get onto the straight, he's going to try and move past me, I think. And I'm just losing time to Alonso ahead, and Bottas is gaining on me, so I'm not sure how long I'm going to hold this 7th position for. So I'm going to let Bottas go past here, but now get a bit of ERS on just to stay with him. I'm going to have to lift off here and back out of this, but Bottas has stayed in there. And I needed to lift out of that just to avoid a collision with Bottas there, to be honest. But hopefully I can stay with Bottas here, because then I can have DRS on the next straight and hopefully keep ahead of Zhou and Magnussen. Stayed as close as I possibly could to Bottas there, so hopefully I'll have DRS, and I do, and I'm a second ahead of Zhou, so hopefully you won't have DRS on me. So I'm just going to try and use as much speed as I can down this straight, get away from Zhou and Magnussen, and hopefully I can just keep this 8th place. There's a yellow flag ahead of me. Don't know what that was about. I guess someone went into the gravel here, but it's cleared up now. Oh, wait, no, it's Perez. Perez is retired. So Perez is out, so I'm up into 7th now. And I'm just trying to stay in the top 8 here to get some points, because even though 8th only gets you 1 point, it's my first point on the board it'd be. So I'm just trying to get that point here at least. And with Perez now out, that does give me a little bit more of a cushion, because I'm in 7th here. And Alex Albon is now out of the session, but he's somewhere behind me, so that doesn't matter. And Magnussen has gained loads on me in that last lap, because I had a really poor first corner, so he's gained so much time. And now I'm worried that I'm not going to be able to keep my positions. And I think there's a little bit of a DRS train formed behind me here, so there's going to be a few quicker cars behind me when we get to this straight. So straight out of here, I'm going full ERS to try and stay ahead of everyone behind me. Even if I can only just keep one person behind me here, that's fine. Going to take the inside here on Magnussen, try and defend that, and I have managed to do so. So I've kept Magnussen behind me, and he's been a little bit squirmy out of there, I think. So it has meant that he has dropped a little bit further behind me. But now he's fighting someone, so hopefully it'll be more than a second behind me, and he will. And I've gapped almost 2 seconds to Zhou and Magnussen here, so hopefully that will stay like that. I'm in a situation now where Magnussen is a lot closer to me, and I had a really poor exit from that last corner. So going into the final lap here, Magnussen will definitely be challenging me down this straight, and I've had a very poor exit from there as well, which is going to allow Magnussen just to attack me straight away.
Okay, this is your final lap.
Hopefully Zhou is far enough behind, but I'm going to have to try and dive down the inside of Magnussen here, I think. Actually, I'm not going to be able to. There's not going to be enough room. And I've gone deep into that corner as well. So now I'm behind Magnussen. Now Zhou is behind me. So I need to keep Zhou behind here. And thankfully, he's gone wide and made a mistake out of that corner. I think my tyres are starting to go a little bit here. I am struggling quite a bit. And now Zhou is pretty close to me here. So I need to stay ahead of him and have a good exit out of this corner. He's really close behind me. I need a good exit out of here so he can't get past me. And I've had a decent exit, so I should be able to get to the line in 8th place here, and that should give me my first point of the season. I was hoping it'd be 2 because I wanted to finish 7th, but Magnussen got me on the last lap. But that is my first point of the season, so at least it's a point on the board. And that is a pretty interesting race because I've managed to put myself in a slightly better position for tomorrow for the full race. And so has Piastri. He's moved himself up quite a few positions. I think he was 17th before, so he's done quite well. Leclerc was on pole and has ended up down in 10th. And Carlos Sainz has won the sprint race, so all pretty interesting. And Sergio Perez is going to be starting from the back because he DNF'd. But anyway, I'm going to end this here and split this into 2 parts and show you the full race in the next part. So if you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you don't want to miss the next part, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.